Right from that time, I will blame Indian anthropologists that they were too enthusiastic in creating this category of tribe which the British failed to identify in clear cut terms. Every second anthropologist created the criteria this should be and this should not be. Consensus never was there. But still, they say tribalness. Friends, this was news in Hindu yesterday, and I'm not very sure whether you may call it a news, and I'm not very sure that what exactly was conferred in the meeting of the anthropologists. Vagueness of anthropological literature, particularly about tribes. Uh, I'm sorry to say, nobody points out. And this journalism of Hindu, uh, this the whole team of Hindu it was here last month, including chief editor and the chief marketing, and they wanted to know why the popularity of Hindu is declining. But they were too adamant to accept their mistakes, rather blunders, I would say. I told that you compare yourself with Enram's leadership. They had no answer, and particularly the cost that is there. 12 rupees for 18 pages. And Sunday, I think it is 15 or 16. No other paper has it. I told that views and analysis, the way you have, this is not the competence expected of Hindu. There was a time when everybody, almost literally every aspirant, civil services aspirant, would be reading Hindu. And the Hindu was definitely popular. Now it is not because better content is available, better analysis is available. What is happening here, this news that is there, the top anthropologists have called for a paradigm shift in the way India defines a tribe, overwhelmingly supporting the idea that a community classification should be assessed on the spectrum of tribalness rather than the binary question of whether or not it's a tribe. This is called Prathame Grase Makshikapat. Where is the definition of tribe universally agreed upon? Professor Vidyarthi's book Tribal Culture of India, I think, gives around 20 definitions. Which one you can take that this is the one? Tribal issues were forced on us, particularly through the efforts of Risley, and who, on the basis of nasal index, tried to differentiate castes and lower castes and whatever objectives he had. And what is the criticism? यादव जी मेरी किताब देना the Christian based Bates 1995 page 238 the concept of race in South Asia. He says the maximum sample size used in Risley's inquiry was 100, and in many cases, Risley's conclusions about racial origins of particular castes or tribal groups were based on the cranial measurements of as few as 30 individuals, like Professor Topinard, Paul Broca, LeBron, and Morton before him. Risley had a clear notion of where his results would lead, and he had no difficulty in fitting the fewest observations into a complex typology of racial types. It was preconceived. He knew what he had to do, and therefore, everybody literally, even Baba Sahib criticized him, Ghurye criticized. Everybody did. Right from that time, I will blame Indian anthropologists that they were too enthusiastic in creating this category of tribe which the British failed to identify in clear cut terms. Every second anthropologist created the criteria. This should be and this should not be. Consensus never was there. But still, they say tribalness. What is tribalness? Just because the colonial people they created the term tribe, and because of the exotic customs and traditions of some of the people, and that has become outdated now. Now you can go through the Charles Seymour Smith Macmillan Dictionary of Anthropology, 1986, page 281. What does it say? Anthropological study of African people showed that the colonial concept of tribe as an ethnically, linguistically, culturally, and politically autonomous and self-conscious unit was a great oversimplification of the complex panorama of inter-ethnic and regional social relations of the pre-colonial Africa. The realization of the artificial nature of the concept of tribe generated a rejection among anthropologists and also among African politicians and intellectuals who began more and more to question the relevance of the concept for the interpretation of contemporary African social and political organization. Thus, modern anthropologists prefer to employ the notion of ethnicity and inter-ethnic relations, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. Here, first the question is: are you talking about tribes or you are talking about scheduled tribe? Scheduled tribe that Lokur, the way they said, criteria were given in 1965. It is very clear. The President of India, as directed in Article 366(25), can declare any community or a part of it as tribe under Article 342(1). And you can't help it, it is there. You have rules of inclusion and exclusion, but exclusion rule has never been followed. And what happens? They say that n number of communities are waiting for their inclusion, and they will do it. And this is all political. And the issue of Manipur, is it so simple? I think it is. But just because converting it in terms of Maiti and Naga and Kuki, if that was the case, why are they not resolving it? If Maitis were given the promise by Pandit Nehru at the time of independence that some sort of provisions will be there for them, why has it not been there? And then, despite giving those, it says the existing criteria may have made sense when they were made. No, it never made sense even at that time. They were not totally isolated. Even the knives of Ramayana and Mahabharata, they were not. And when they were isolated and how they got into the jungles, even Chanakya called them Varna Jatis because Jati is the ground reality of India. People used to go because of the atrocities committed by the invaders. Thousands and thousands and thousands people. And Sufis had their own contribution in doing. The Sufis that we appreciate a lot. So, to demarcate a caste from a tribe, you may keep talking in terms of tribe caste continuum, but as given by the dictionary, tribe is an outdated category. Scheduled tribe, I can't help it. And virtually no community meets 100%. Even then, also, no community met 100%. And now you want to have the tribal spectrum of tribalness. If you decide on the spectrum of tribalness, what you want to prove? This community is 20% tribal, this community is 30% tribal, this community is 40% tribal. So what? How it is going to help them in their development, in their identity, in their progress? I would have preferred that these people would be sitting there, that today we are meeting and we are deliberating, this should be done, that should be done. Let us meet in another 3 months and let us finalize Nobody will, because it's not their habit. He says all the great anthropologists, he names the reporter, one person who is the director, and he specializes in tribal health. And but I didn't find any significant contribution. Even as a director of Anthropological Survey of India, I do not. And another name you have given is SMP, who is a head here in DU. But again, what is he doing? I'm not sure. What about the rest? Irony is they just meet, they just talk, and they vanish. So, what is the solution? In Bhubaneswar, the World Conference that was there, I took a whole session on colonial constructs, caste and tribe. Irony here is even if people don't agree, they won't speak. And that way you cannot reach any conclusion. This issue of caste and tribe, it has been forced on us. And the problem, major problems and causes of all those problems, one major reason is these divisions and subdivisions. Firstly, you create caste and tribes, and then you create criminals, and then you create economically weaker and everything that you do, further division and division. I have said n number of times, I am not against reservations, but definitely hereditary reservation, it is unacceptable. Things must change 75 years after independence. And I have already suggested the criteria for reservation. Those who have their thorough education, school education, from the beginning till the 12th, are the people who really deserve. Even a peon in Delhi will send his ward to public school. Do you think he needs reservation? Reservation has to be given to those who really deserve, who don't have a meal at home, even if government efforts, all those 81 crore people being served food. Those who are stunted, severely undernourished, lack all the resources, are the people who are studying in the government run schools. If you want to keep a limit of 50% in government run, 50% of the students are there, 50% are in the public schools. Clear division can be there. And this artificial creation of hereditary reservation, I think the time has come, it must go. But at the same time, this Hindu clipping, it was put in the UIF group, and two people did it. I didn't find any comment over there. What for your nation builders? Anthropology is the one that can govern, that can direct, that can possess, that can lead to betterment of society. And what anthropologists are doing, sorry to say, I won't say more. Thank you.